Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the ETA Season 7 Power Rankings video. I know you've all been waiting for this, and I've got my good friend here, my co-admin, Mr. Mike Haley, on the line.
Hello.
So, yeah, in this video, we're going to scroll through all 16 teams, talk about them, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? And, we're going to tell them how good they are, how bad they are, and everything in between. No filter. Also, no script. We're just going to talk for a long time. This video is probably going to be really long. I'll try to include timestamps so you can find out where we talk about your team. But if you want to just listen to the whole thing, put us on in the background because we're probably going to ramble a lot. But without any further ado, if we're going in order, my team is up first. So you want to take it away with some thoughts on my team?
Oh, you want me to get into it first?
I mean, I'm first.
I'm totally prepared.
So.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm totally prepared to talk about your team. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the first thing I ever noticed about your top three, absolutely crazy. I really like Lunala. I really like Mega Gigas Kong to pair with it to resist the ghost types. And then you also have one of the best dark type counters in the whole game with Zamazenta. You got that pretty late, didn't you?
Actually, Zamazenta was my second pick. I went Lunala, then Zamazenta immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're smart. You're absolutely very smart.
Yeah.
What's crazy too is Zamazenta isn't the only really bulky thing on your team because you have some of the bulky guys. You have Tapu Fini, you have Corviknight, Ting Lu. Serena is even a good assault vest user with rapid spin and other supportive moves for your team.
Yeah. I mean, my thought process was take Lunala first just because I want a good Uber to build around, and then I went Zamazenta immediately after because it wasn't quite in the Ubers tier, it was in the top tier, and I kind of wanted to wait a little bit on my second Uber just to snag some top tiers that I wanted. And so snagging Zamazenta first was good because that thing is definitely very good in the top tier, and then I just tried to build a bulky core around it just to all kind of synergize with Lunala. Yeah, I mean, I talked about my team at length in actually the team breakdown video that I just recorded the other night. That's gonna go up real soon, so I don't want to exhaust myself repeating too much. But I think my team's pretty solid. I'm pretty happy for it. With it, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not gonna say it's without flaw because it probably is without flaw.
I don't think any draft team per se is perfect. Yeah. That's why it's the running joke in these videos that it's always we give people 7s because it's really up to whatever the player themselves uses with the team. Because I've seen teams where if you were to look at it on paper, you'd probably be like, this is poop. No one's going to do anything with this. And then the coach actually finds a way to make it work. And it's very interesting. It's always player to player, I say with teams a lot.
Oh, yeah,
which is why you and every other coach will get a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, we're gonna just give every team 7 out of 10. That's the joke. Yeah, I kind of wish my team maybe was a little faster and had some priority, and some better healing to complement its bulk. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. So
you don't have any wish supporters or anything like that? You do have an interesting option in Revival Blessing with Palmont. That is fun.
I do have a wish pastor in Mega Kangaskhan. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, the streets aren't ready when I pull up with that Max Spadef Seismic Toss.
No, they really aren't.
Dude, they're not. They're so
that shit is no joke.
Alright, so I'm going to give myself a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what else would it be?
You want to talk about? Let's move on to Scary Carry. Is next in line here.
Classic Carry
with the Exeter Eiscues. So okay, let me take it away here. So my thought process with this team is like it's just an amalgamation of hyper offense.
I was gonna say the first thing you notice with this team is just full offense.
It's
It's
just
just
like
only HO,
I feel like
which again is coach to coach. Can you make that work? I'm not opposed to like a hyper offensive team. It's just I don't think if you can correctly do it, you're gonna run into trouble. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think so. My view on draft is like the best strategy to draft is like to try to draft a balanced team, to like draft a defensive core and have offensive pieces, but like trying to draft hyper offense is really hard to do in my opinion. Like in drafting a hyper offense team that can work, I feel like Scary Carry here is just like picking a bunch of things individually that are like really good on their own, but I don't see like too much synergy in between them other than like they're all threatening on their own in their own right. You know
They're
what I
all
mean?
gonna do damage to you, but if you have a good enough defensive core, you could probably handle with it well enough
So
to
like
wither them out.
I see what he's
That's
going
kind of what you're.
yeah, like I see what he's going for. Like we have Deoxys speed here. It can lead, set up dual screens, and then you've got stuff like Chiyu, Mega Mawile to wall break, Fluttermane to clean up. Landorus is hard to switch into. And then you got Palafin or Shifu.
Mhm.
So it's just like a
Terra
bunch,
Cloystra as well.
a bunch
We
of
haven't
stuff.
talked about the Terra Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't have the Terra types on screen here, but I will bring them up as necessary. Um, yeah, so like a few critiques I have with this team is like it's just like pure hyper offense, and I feel like the problem with this kind of strategy is like once you lose momentum, it it can be really hard to just get it back. Like if this team gets on the back foot, like if something else becomes hard to switch into, Scary Carry just has to start sacking threats because his team is all threat. It's all threats and like
Hmm.
nothing to support them, other than like maybe Deoxys speed or like something like Brambleghasts. Like Clefairy Murkrow is not a good enough defensive core to support all of this. It's just not. And there's just a lot of redundancy too. Like Palafin and Urshifu Rapid Strike are like two of the best physical water types in the game, but like
Well, I have both.
having
You
them
know
both
what
in
I
the same
mean?
team is like okay, like I know I need to bring something to deal with physical water moves. Like that's easy. You got two very strong fairy types in Fluttermane and Mega Mawile, and they do function very differently. But there's just some redundancy there. Like, so that's really my main gripe with this team is like I don't know if he can really pull off this hyper offense. I do think this team will for sure get wins just because like one of these
All
threats
the
will
threats
pop
on it.
off. Like one of these
Yeah.
threats will pop off a couple times. So this team will definitely get wins, but I don't know if it can be consistent. It's just I feel like if this team gets on the back foot, it's it's hard to regain momentum when you just have all of these threats. You know,
Hmm.
there's just no
Okay,
real
well, I
backbone.
say we give Scary Carry here a 7 out of 10, and
Yeah,
we move ahead to the next team.
yeah, I feel like a 7 out of 10 is appropriate here.
You say that for every team, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 7 out of 10 is appropriate.
Okay. So now we got Sherry. Sherry is
Oh,
here.
wake up, babe.
Dude, take
Jerry
take it
Davis.
take it away with shared. We're not going to talk about week one either. We already a couple games already
No,
happened.
no, no.
we
We had like 2 games so far,
we don't
but
need
we'll
to
just
talk
ignore
about
the end
we don't need
results
to
and just talk about the
mention
team
yeah,
themselves.
we don't need to mention the Terrapagos travesty of week
Hmm.
one. Yeah.
So Davis's team kind of reminds me a little bit of Carey's team we just talked about. If you actually had some better defensive pieces in it, because you have incredible threats like Zacian, Palkia, Dragapult, Mega Scizor, But then you also have really good bulk with things like Zapdos. You have Slowking, the Johto Slowking, not Glowking, Incineroar, and even a great low tier in Quillfish as well.
Mm-hmm.
Quillfish with Terra is really good. I don't know what Dave's Terra type is for Quillfish. Could you pull that up?
Oh, sorry. Quillfish is Terra, Poison, and Ghost.
Okay.
He's also got Terra Dark Incineroar and Terra Water Titan.
Okay. You bring Sid Titan in, maybe
Yeah,
you make it a belly drum sweeper one
we
day.
got a little chilly reception into Titan, which I like.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking.
I
You
mess with
chili
that.
out into Titan, you get the belly drum up. You can go crazy with that.
That's a
Also,
good
you can
option.
use Spite Ops to throw down the sticky webs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do really like Spite Ops on this team. I think Sticky Webs is very threatening when you have Zacian and Dragapult on the front end. Like, just Zacian plus Dragapult alone is crazy. Like, and it's insane that Sherry got Dragapult in like round 8 or something of the draft.
Very late. No one took it.
I mean, we did tier it pretty high, but I mean, for good reason.
Yeah, of course. Dragapult's one of the top mons.
Yeah, like
in
Dragapult 142.
Past meta, current meta, it's very good.
Oh yeah, Dragapult 142 speed, Zacian 138 is like very very hard to check. You basically
and then
need
if
to
you
bring...
had anything that was scarfed that now gets webbed by Spite Ops too, it's such a headache for you.
Exactly, because you basically need to bring a Scarfer to check Zacian and Dragapult, and plus it's hard to even like find one Pokemon that can hit, a bulky fairy and a bulky dragon. Let alone, so like you kind of got to get chip damage on them, and then you have the sticky web option, which can just nullify your Scarfer that you bring to check Zacian and Dragapult. So that's just like a nightmare in terms of prep. And I do like kind of some of the supporting pieces that we've got with Iron Treads, Slowking. Zapdos is a good offensive and defensive piece. It's a nice versatile mon. Two steel types with Mega Scizor and Iron Treads isn't ideal, but I think they don't really share weaknesses except for fire, and then you have Palkia Origin. As kind of
to eat that up.
My initial thought when looking at this team was like Palkia Origin is a little bit redundant because you already have a Dragon type in Dragapult, you have a bulky water in Slowking, but I do still kind of like it because having Palkia Origin, like having two Dragon types to switch into, kind of forces your opponent to want to bring a Fairy, and you also have two Steel types, right? So it kind of works doubling up on both Dragon and Steel, because you're kind of just putting your opponents in a tough situation. Like they want to bring the Fairy type for Palkia and Dragapult.
But what Steel type are they going to have to deal with now?
But now they got two Steel types to deal with in between the Treads and the Scizor. So
I'm smelling what you're stepping in, man.
Yeah,
I was thinking that too at first. I was kind of like, why have Palkia if you already have Dragapult? But even statistically, like they both kind of do different things.
Yeah, it's not.
You have Pult, which can be physical or special, and maybe set up with Dragon Dance or something. Just maybe specs. But then you have like Palkia Origin, where it's like if you had specs on that, like you'd be doing some damage. It also has a little bit more bulk than Dragapult does. So like with all of that special attack, base 150, you don't have to invest too much into that. You could like truly just be a bulky dragon type and try and like make it serve a different role.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, doubling up on typings isn't always bad if you like, as long as you think about the roles that each Pokemon is having. Above when we were talking about physical water types, like Palafin and Urshifu are kind of doing the same role. They're just strong physical attacker, wall breaker, or revenge killer. But like down here, like I think Dragapult and Palkia serve different enough roles, and the double dragon type is complemented by the double steel type, which works. And if you want to get technical, there is double fairy type because Wigglytuff is a bottom tier. Okay, so We have 2 Fairy Steel Dragon cores.
I mean, hey, might as well complete it. I honestly forgot about Wigglytuff down there.
Yeah, don't write off Wigglytuff completely. It might do something one week.
Hey,
I'm
Godspeed.
Just saying.
Davis, your team's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say. With all that being said, I feel like this is about a 7 out of 10. I would have liked a grass type to finish the Firewater Grass core between Slowking and Incineroar. Um, that's my only real critique of the team. But I still think the defensive core is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. And I like Incineroar a lot on this team. Actually, Incineroar fits a really good niche on this team. But yeah,
the VGC hero.
I think it's a 7 out of 10.
All right,
so we're gonna give it a 7.
Let's talk about the Massachusetts Mews, coached by our good friend Sly Robbie.
ETA legend Sly Robbie is back once again for season 7.
The original Pawmont hero.
Mm-hmm. So Mewtwo and Ho-Oh on the front end of this team is very scary. Mewtwo and Ho-Oh do like 2 very different things. And like the fast offensive core of this team is like Mewtwo, Weavile, Zeraora. Like those 3 are all very fast and can pretty much be made to outspeed and check whatever is on any
you really need
team, right? You even got a little priority with Ice Shard and Weavile. Zeraora can be physical or special, and it's the fastest out of the 3. And Mewtwo just has raw power to go along with 130 speed. So that's awesome. And then you've got the Ho-Oh side of the team, where you've got Ho-Oh and Alomomola as just kind of like a little regen core to keep momentum
anytime
up.
You have more than one regenerator Pokemon, I always find it to be very frustrating building against, because you have to balance both of them now. Like, how do I chip both of these down slowly enough that they don't become an issue? Just especially these 2. Like, Ho-Oh is insanely bulky, Alomomola is insanely bulky, and what's really annoying is they can both slow pivot. Like, I'm pretty sure Ho-Oh just U-turns, and then Alomomola has slow flip turn too. So those 2 are always really frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, I think Alomomola is very underrated as a Pokemon. I think it's very, very good at what it does.
Really, I feel like people have been giving it its flowers lately.
They have.
I feel as though it's like pretty well respected nowadays.
Yeah, it is respected nowadays. I moved it up a decent amount on the tier list this season compared to last season, but I still don't know if I put it high enough. Yeah. There's also Great Tusk, which kind of slots in between like all of these little cores. I think Great Tusk covers Ho-Oh's weaknesses nicely. It's a nice electric immunity because the regen core between Ho-Oh and Alomomola is weak to electric, so you kind of need that electric immunity.
That's where Big Tusk comes in.
That's where Big Tusk comes in. And having that strong fighting type just goes nicely too with Mewtwo and Weavile, just to complete a nice little psychic, dark, and fighting offensive trio. So I like that a lot. Scizor is also an interesting piece to provide some priority. Just some utility. I think Scizor just has good utility. Like it can defog, it can bullet punch, it can be a decent choice band mon. Some interesting stuff. Nihilego on this team is also really interesting. Nihilego is a Pokemon that can be underlooked, but can just sweep through teams that aren't prepared for it.
That power set, man.
Meteor Beam, if you EV it correctly to get the speed boost off the Meteor Beam kill, it can be GG. So yeah. So if I have a few thoughts on critiquing this team though. So then there's Noivern here, which I don't really like Noivern too much on this team. Um, I think there's already a lot of speed on the front end between Zeraora, Mewtwo, and Weavile. And Noivern is also very fast, but it's like the speed isn't really needed at that point. I would have liked this team to have a little bit more bulk built out just to kind of support Ho-Oh and Alamomola with the little regen core that they're going for. Um, they also have Whimsicott here. Whimsicott does have nice prankster support, and it can be a decent pivot, though it's not super bulky. I would have really liked this team to have another like bulky grass type just to fully flush out that Fire Water Grass core. I think a Pokemon like Hydrapple would have been like a very nice fit. Um, the other thing is like he has got Exploud here, and like Exploud and Noivern are both Terra Normal. So Terra Normal Boomburst is like something that this team can clearly do, but do you really need two Mons that can Terra Normal Boomburst? Because now I think people are just going to prep for it. Whereas you kind of want to, that's kind of something I feel like you want to catch people by surprise with. And then I like Haunter at the bottom tier though. I like Haunter at the bottom tier. Just a kind of a utility bottom tier Sashmon, but those are my thoughts. I don't know.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm just kind of looking at the team and taking in everything you just said. It definitely feels like there could be a little bit more bulk to it. Maybe if Sly Robbie wanted to in free agency, he could take a look at something. I know initially in the draft, he originally had Obama Snow over Whimsicott, which I thought would be cool to have Aurora Veil up for a lot of these threats and those defensive pivots with the Regenerator.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I'm not saying this
I
team's
think he was
bad.
just missing a fairy type. No, it's a
Um,
7 out of 10. I think everyone knows that.
I do kind of feel like this is a 7 out of 10. I can't give it any higher or any lower. Um, but yeah, I guess that's my thought. So let's just give it a 7 out of 10.
All right.
Next up we have the Toronto Torterras.
Oh, fuck.
I guess I have to take the lead here.
You kind of do.
Are you gonna do a team analysis video, or you're not uploading, right?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
everyone. I know you're all disappointed.
Yeah, please apologize formally here right now.
I am really sorry to all the Haley heads out there that were looking forward to a new season, but unfortunately, I'm pretty busy right now and I just don't have the time for it.
Yeah, I hope you guys can accept that apology. All right. So, I think Yveltal Solgaleo as two Ubers on the front end is strong. Like just two like bulky, like mixed attacking Ubers. Like you got Psychic Dark. That's a good little combination there. So I like that. Just like those two on the front end to kind of build around. And then you have like Sneasler. Sneasler provides good speed, fighting type to kind of close out that dark psychic fighting core. So I think Sneasler is great here. Rillaboom is there as the grass type. You got that Grassy Glide priority. You got that Grassy Seed option for Sneasler with the Unburden. So that's something good to think about. That's a good little combination there. So there's a lot of options for the revenge kill on this team. Kyurem is a mon that I think is very good, very hard to prep for. If you don't prep for Kyurem, it can mess you up. Just having a strong freeze dry to click is just always nice because it's very hard to switch into, and then you got Earth Power for coverage. Not to mention that this thing can run Dragon Dance. It's pretty decent with the loaded dice, Scale Shot, Icicle Spear set. So there's just a lot of things that Kyurem can do, and it's impossible to prep for all of them. So Kyurem is just always going to be good on this team, and it fits nicely as just like a bulky dragon, offensive ice type, I think. You got some bulky pieces down here with Blissey, Skeleturge, Vaporeon. I do like this bulky core. Ghost normal is a nice defensive core in my opinion. Just as a little duo, I think Skeleturge Blissey is pretty good. Like Blissey is just like the special sponge, so it can sponge like any special attacks, and then Dirge has the physical defense and the fighting immunity to just complement Blissey very nicely. And then Vaporeon kind of covers Skeleturge a little bit and rounds out the defensive core, being able to cover some of Skeleturge's weaknesses, and also Wish Pass for the team. Blissey can Wish Pass too, but he got two very nice Wish Passers with Blissey and Vaporeon, so that's gonna help Solgaleo and Yveltal on the front end. Like just having those two very nice Wish Passers to keep them healthy, and Kyurem. So yeah, it's gonna help. It's just gonna help keep the team healthy. The signature Torterra is here, obviously, because it has to be. And let's see, Torterra is Terra Rock, Vaporeon is Terra Ground, Slurpuff is Terra Fairy and Fire. I like Slurpuff a lot. Slurpuff is a great utility low tier. You can do a few different fun things with it. You don't have it's not really a strong fairy type, but it's a good utility fairy type. You have a sticky web option, which helps out this team. I will note this team is kind of slow on paper, but I think it has enough options to help mitigate that weakness. Sneasler is the main form of speed, which can come most weeks. But you also have stuff like Grassy Glide Rillaboom, which is strong priority. You've got Sucker Punch Yveltal, which is strong priority. And then you've got other stuff like Sticky Web Slurpuff, which can help with some speed control. And even stuff like Kyurem, Solgaleo, they can be Choice Scarfed if they need to be. For a little surprise kill, for a little bit of speed in a pinch. So I think speed is a weakness for this team, but I think it has tools to kind of supplement it. Hisuian Avalugg is actually a great bottom tier in my opinion because it can Terra into any type and it's very physically bulky. It's just another Mon to complement Blissey. Like if you don't want to bring Skeleturge, you can bring Blissey plus Hisuian Avalugg with like whatever Terra type you want, and that's just a really good defensive core because Blissey can take all the special hits and Avalugg can take all the physical hits. So I like that a lot actually. And then Ampharos is cool, I guess.
Thanks, man.
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I would agree with that. I think it's a solid 7 out of 10 team.
Yeah. Do you want to chime in with anything or?
Sure, I'll talk about my team a little bit and kind of like the thought process. As soon as I saw what pick I had, I knew I wanted Yveltal, assuming I would be able to get it. Grill was in front of me, so I was like, whatever he takes, I suppose, we'll just see. And as soon as I saw Yveltal, I was like, I want this. It's so good. It can do so many different things, whether it's an offensive piece, a defensive piece. I just wanted it. It was literally one of the best Pokemon available. Another reason I really wanted to take Rillaboom is actually to help some of my really good Pokemon, because in grassy terrain, you do have the Earthquakes weekend. So that kind of helps out Solgaleo.
Oh, that's true.
It helps out Sneasler so it doesn't get earthquaked. Ampharos too, because
and Skeleturge.
That's its only weak. Yep, and Dirge, just like all the ground weak Pokemon, it kind of helps them out.
Yeah, and just passive recovery too is nice for stuff
exactly.
like Kyurem and Solgaleo. Yeah, I like
You
that.
mentioned the wish passers before too. Another big reason I wanted them is initially the team was pretty physical. I didn't have Kirim yet, so it was Rillaboom, Yveltal, Sogaleo, like all these guys who are normally physical. And I didn't have anything to switch into a Scald. So
Mm.
I knew I wanted to get Vaporeon, and then I was like, I should also get Blissey because something else is they both have Heal Bell support too, so
Mm-hmm.
they can always keep the team healthy in that way.
Yeah, I think Blissey actually ties up this team perfectly. I really like Blissey. I mean, Blissey and Vaporeon can do kind of fill the same role, but I think they each have different defensive tools that they can utilize.
Mm-hmm.
Another weakness I'm now noticing with this team is you don't have a ton of hazard control. You have Rapid Spin, Hisui, and
I do have
Avalugg,
one Rapid Spinner
and
and
you have
one Defogger.
Defog Yveltal, which you don't really want to click Defog when you're in with
No,
Yveltal.
I mean there are a lot of defensive sets that just make it like a Defogger, but the reason you draft something like that is you want to have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say that's kind of a weakness. You definitely don't want to get hazard stacked, especially with this slow, wish passy, bulky team. Um, but yeah,
All
I
right,
still I,
7 out
I
of
still
10.
can't give it less than a 7 out of 10 though.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
What's the title of this video?
7 out of 10.
ETA 7 out of 10.
ETA season 7 out of 10. Dude, I'm totally gonna make that the title.
Let's go.
Um. All right, let's talk about AJ and the Cleveland
All right,
Escavaliers. Um. So I think so. From what I understand, AJ is new to Draft League. I just watched his team analysis
This
video.
is his first draft
This is
he's
his
ever
first
done.
ever draft. Yeah.
He's not new to Mons. I know for a fact he plays Mons. He frequents the ladder.
Yeah.
Um, I just don't think he's ever done a draft league before.
No,
This is the first time he's ever done one.
that's cool, dude. I like
So
having
welcome,
a
AJ.
newcomer. I like having a newcomer around. It's fun. But I will kind of lay out my thoughts for this team because I do kind of feel like this team is a little disjointed.
Oh no, he's about to give it a 7 out of 10.
I mean, let's just. I'm gonna say some nice things. Genesect is like amazing in draft because it's super versatile, and
Very.
you can run all the chill drives, so it has a ton of coverage. It's got extreme speed for priority. Shift gear is an amazing setup move with it, or you can just run a special set with like Ice Beam, Flamethrower,
Bolt Beam.
whatever coverage you
Literally
want.
whatever you want.
It's a great choice card for with U-turn stab. Download is a great ability too, because like it's just a great mixed attacker. Overall, I Genesect is amazing, and so is Mega Blaziken. Mega Blaziken will definitely can definitely run away with some games. I think Mega Blaziken alone will get this team a win or two. But I feel like this team starts to fall apart a little bit as you go down and you realize it doesn't have too much it just doesn't have too much defensive support. Like and Ferrothorn is like the main bulky piece of this team, but my problem with Ferrothorn is like it's 4 times weak to fire and like but the head of your team is Genesect. So
which is also 4 times weak to fire.
Which is also 4 times weak to fire. So every single team is bringing fire coverage. Like every single mon is gonna like tech the heat wave or the flamethrower or whatever because they want to be able to pick off Genesect and chip Ferrothorn. So it's very easy for like so many coaches to just tech a fire move for this team. And your fire resist is like Walking Wake, which is a great mon, but it's not really a mon that you like want switching in and taking damage. You kind of want to bring it out to like hit hard, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. I feel like this team needs like kind of some defensive pivots. Like it could use like something like a Rotom Wash or something like that that can just take a hit and pivot back out into a guy like Genesect or Darmanitan. But I feel like it just doesn't really have that. It just has a lot of it. A lot of these mons are really good. Like I think Hoopa Unbound is really good. It can be super versatile on either the physical or special side, but it's just going to be hard to get it in safely. I feel like. I feel like this team will want to lean heavily on Empoleon towards the bottom tier, or the low tier, or I think Empoleon's a mid tier. Sorry.
It is.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's Terra Fairy, but I just feel like I wish like between Empoleon and Ferrothorn, this team had just a few more defensive pieces. Mimikyu is interesting as a fairy type. Like I think as a ghost fairy type, Mimikyu is cool. It kind of checks all the boxes in terms of typing. It's just in terms of roles and functionality, like there's just not a lot of variation. Most of these mons are just like hit hard and do damage. But you kind of need some guys who you can take hits. I feel like I do really like Alolan Executor though. I think it's an amazing bottom
That's
tier.
a solid bottom tier.
We arguably
I also
should have
see what
moved it
he's
up.
trying to do with Typhlosion because you have a Flash Fire Mon. I just wish it was like a fire type with Flash Fire that was a little bit bulkier.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that's true. And but even Typhlosion as a low tier, it's not a mon that you want to bring most weeks. It might come off the bench once or twice.
You're not bringing T Diddy every week.
And
I think everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean, it might come off the bench once or twice, and it could be nice in the right matchups. But just like a mon like Miss Magius, like I'm just confused why it's on this team where you already have a ghost type in Mimikyu. You've got some good speed with stuff like Walking Wake, Darmanitan, Genesect. It's just what's the purpose of it on this team? I'm not sure. But I think this team
a substitute to. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm spitting.
You spit.
Probably just a substitute for like a flying type because there's no ground resist. So now you have a levitate mon.
That's true. Yeah, I can scroll over here to the right and see some of the it's cut off in the view. There's a flaw in my recording design. You can't see everything. Anyway, yeah, and plus the only form of hazard control is Defog and Empoleon. So like, I'm just saying like this team is gonna rely heavily on Empoleon, and I just want like there to be.
And if it goes down, it's gonna be pretty easy to hazard stack.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I think Empoleon, especially with the Terra Fairy, is really good. You just got to flush out a little bit of a defensive core around it, I think. But that's it. I don't want to, we don't need to keep going on this.
Still 7 out of 10.
I still think Genesect and Mega Blaziken alone will easily just get wins for this team because
100%. Mega Blaziken's Mega Blaziken at the end of the day.
Dude.
It clicks Protect, and then it clicks Swords Dance, and then it wins.
Even if you prep for Mega Blaziken, if he gets the sequence of turns right, it can just win. So that's always going to be a good mon. Let's go to Final Crusader.
Yes, let's.
What are your thoughts here on Final Crusader?
I'll talk about what I like on Final Crusader's team. I like that Crusader's trying to go for the balance thing, where he's having like some really solid, hard-hitting Uber Pokemon, and then he's also got some really good defensive back pieces. Obviously, you have the Mega Mewtwo Y, which is absolutely crazy with 194 special attack. Chenpao, everyone knows that thing's a threat. Baxcalibur, we all know what happened there as soon as it got scale shot.
Yeah, I like Mega Mewtwo Y plus Chin Pao a lot. That's a cool
It's
combination.
very intimidating.
Two
The only
very
thing I will
fast
say is our
mons.
defensive core here,
Hmm.
Deoxys Petch, no disrespect, love both of those Pokemon dearly. You are sharing the ghost weakness. And while there is two normal types on this team, like the only other dark type to resist it is Chen Pao, which is like pretty
Yeah,
frail, especially on the special side.
yeah. The defensive pieces are sharing a ghost weakness and a dark weakness. And
Like I would
so
love to see a a Snorlax or something
yeah, or
instead of like an Arboliva.
or even like an Umbreon. You know,
Yeah.
I think that'd be perfect just to kind of round out because you do double up on psychic types with Mega Mewtwo and Deoxys. I mean, don't get
And
me
you also
wrong.
double up with grass with the Arboliva and the Superior.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
but
Superior is the superior grass type.
those are mons that are gonna want to Terra, when given the chance. So like, I feel like it's not the worst thing. Um, but I do kind of. I'm not crazy about doubling up on the psychic type because I mean, Mega Mewtwo and Deoxys fill different roles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna want to really switch in Mega Mewtwo on attacks, but like it just, every single dark type is gonna come versus this team. Like,
100%.
it's just obvious. Um, and but I'll segue into that by saying Magirna is amazing, and I think Magirna actually can be this unsung hero of this team, because that mon is just really good. Super versatile. It's a great setup sweeper, but you don't even have to run the shift gear set or the calm mind set. You can just run like a bulky set, an AV set, um, and it's just good. It's just so good. So, um, yeah, subtle Magirna plug. Though you do got to be careful of the ground weakness because, yeah, the ground resists are not abundant on this team. Um, they are mostly the bottom tiers that want a Terra anyway. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Like Tail Glow Volbeat.
yeah. Which by the way, you can't baton pass Tail Glow anymore. We we changed the rules. So Volbeat's still cool though.
What are you thinking when I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking a 7 out of 10.
Um, you know what? Yeah, I was almost thinking an 8, but I think it's a 7.
I remember the title of the video, man.
Exactly. Um. All right, now we got Caracasa and the grounded Gibles. Um. Now this team is fire. Pun intended.
Literally, it's a Sun team.
Um. I gotta be honest. I kind of mess with this team. I feel like Caracasa is going for the hyper offense draft, which I kind of mentioned earlier is like hard to pull off, but I feel like he kind of pulls it off here. Um, like it obviously, like, you obviously know what it's going for, right? Groudon is going to set up the sun, and then you have a fleet of photosynthesis dragons
And Victory Bell.
and Victory Bell. I thought you were going to say Victini, but you said Victory Bell.
Nope.
My eyes were on.
I mean, yeah, Victini too.
My eyes
It's also a player on this team.
My
That's
eyes
good,
were on
but
the word Victini as you said Victory Bell, and I was like, wait, that's not how you pronounce Victini. But yes, the Victory Bell is here. Um, but yeah, like
also Hisui and Lilligant, which is incredibly scary. I feel like people don't talk about that thing enough. It is very intimidating how good that thing is.
Yeah, dude, that thing's really good. Great chlorophyll sweeper. Yeah, like I feel like if you want to try to draft hyper offense, like this is a good hyper offense. I feel like it does have some shortfalls because
there's 4 dragon types.
Yeah. So I feel like
and you only can really rely on Claude to switch in on the fairies.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing. Like but the 3 photosynthesis dragons are so strong with sun up that like they can muscle through any
all
resist.
3 of them. So Roaring Goob, Gouging Fire, and Bolt. Like they're all so good.
I'm just glad that this team didn't get Fluttermane. Because I know he wanted Fluttermane instead of Giratina Origin, and it got sniped. But anyway, yeah, I feel like the dragons can muscle through whatever resists just off the sun. I don't feel like Giratina is even a terrible pick on this team because this team does kind of need like Giratina is a good offensive pivot. Like it can come in, take an attack, swap out into whatever. So I feel like it's not even that bad, and it kind of works with Clodsire. It has Levitate. So and Clodsire is like the main defensive piece on this team. If I were to change one thing on this team, I would probably change Clodsire because you already have a ground type in Groudon, which like your team is going to rely heavily on you bringing Groudon every week. So, that's coming. If this team had like Toxapex over Clodsire, I feel like that'd be awesome to give it a water type.
The people want to know, man.
Another bulky poison. Because like you don't even really need Unaware because you have Ditto. Ditto is perfect for this team because some people might think, to prep for all these dragons, you just like try to set up before them. But you can't even do that because Ditto's in the back.
Poppies you, sweeps you instead.
Yeah. So it's
tough predicament.
So you can't really set up before the dragons because then you just get counter swept by Ditto. So you have to try to survive the fleet of dragons, and it's gonna be hard because then you also got stuff like Victini and Lilligant. Ribombay is tech, Ribombay is sticky web tech. That can be useful. I mess with this team, honestly. I feel like it's a nightmare to prep for.
Yeah.
But those are my kind of gripe. My gripe with it is also like it's just heavily reliant on Groudon, and I feel like the goal to win versus this team is to just remove Groudon early, try to catch it by surprise. I think as long as Caracasa plays Groudon well, then this team will do very well. But I feel like Groudon will also want to like kind of fill more of a defensive role, maybe bring like the Heat Rock, not really like live up to its full potential just because it's needed to set up the sun for the rest of the team. Yeah.
You know what that sounds like to me, my friend?
A 7 out of 10?
I would say so.
Yeah, I don't think I can really give it any higher. A 7 out of 10. All right. You wanna take it away on this next team?
Oh, Camel's team. How do you pronounce that? The Exeter?
The Exeter Xatu? Don't we already have? Do we have 2 Exeter teams?
Hey, there's some freaking plagiarism going on.
Dude, that's messed up. How many? There's so many fucking places in the world.
That is crazy.
Dude, we got to give.
So, anyways,
we got to give Scary Carry his German city back. I forget what it was.
I don't remember.
This fuck. I'm gonna give Scary Gary's German City back because I can't have two Exeter teams. It's just so. I don't even know where Exeter is. Where is Exeter? Is it even a real place?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Dude, I'm not a fucking. It's definitely like somewhere. I don't know where it is. Are you looking it up?
Yep. It's in England.
It's in England. See, that's why I don't care.
Blue Wales.
It's such a subpar country, dude.
Yeah, dude, fucking tell me about it.
Fuck the British.
Show those
dude.
assholes what they deserve. Dump them the tea.
Yeah, dude.
So, anyways,
horse.
Our friend Camel here, yes, has decided to draft a gimmick team. The gimmick.
I'm gonna be honest.
Everyone is a horse.
Let me be honest.
Now, some of you, okay, go ahead and be honest.
This might be the best team I've ever seen.
Pretty solid.
I don't think I've seen a draft team assembled any more cleanly than this.
I mean, he did come into the draft with a goal, and he did achieve it. He got all of the horsemons.
I mean, just the synergy, the synergy between this team. They all just fit the same theme. I mean, some of them are questionable. Like, you can make an argument.
Scolipede.
You can make an argument that some of them don't count as horses. And yes, I'm looking at Scolipede.
I guess you could say it's like a bug horse.
But for the sake of the team,
I don't know if I believe that.
I'll let it slide.
I'll let it slide.
Same
with Diagla. I don't know if I think Diagla is a horse, per se.
Yeah, I mean, I think just because something has horse-like features doesn't make it a horse. You know what I mean? Like, but, again, for the sake of the team,
Whatever, yeah.
I mean, Kingdra is definitely a horse, though. Like,
yes, it's a seahorse. That counts.
There's no debate there. In America, we call that a seahorse, okay? And that is end of debate.
Yeah, pretty much. It has horse in the title.
What else even is there to say?
I'll tell you what there is to say. Our rating, and it's 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Honestly, I think this team, even though it's a meme, it can definitely get some wins. Just like off the power of Calyrex Ice and Dialga and Spectrier. Spectrier can clean up games pretty easily. This team
Keldeo
also has
too.
This team has a
People
ton.
sleep on Keldeo.
Oh yeah, Keldeo is really good. This team has a ton of Terra options too, and so that is really good. And I know Camel's a good coach, so I expect him to utilize them well. So I do feel like this team will collect at least some wins, but we'll see if the horses can stampede into playoffs. We'll see. Let's go to Yasha and the Winnipeg Dragapults.
How about that? What do we got here? Rayquaza. Originally, I wanted Mega Metagross. It was stolen from me. So Yasha, sleep with one eye open. Count your fucking days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got Darkrai. You got Iron Val, and Terapagos. I'm seeing a lot of threats up here.
There's definitely a lot of threats. I see.
And then we look on the bottom half, and we're looking at some of the bulkier guys.
Yep.
We got a bulky Firewater Grass Core here. We got an Arcanine, Tangrowth, Rotom Wash.
Yep.
Pretty solid. I think those three players play pretty well off of each other.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
A lot of people don't really view Arcanine as like a bulky mon. It's got some decent defensive stats.
It can work.
It can work. It's got Intimidate. I also believe it can Terrasilize. So like if you could tear it into like a water type or something.
Arcanine is Terra Grass.
It's pretty solid. Oh, it's Terra Grass.
Arcanine
Okay.
is Terra Grass.
Yeah, that's also pretty solid.
Which works. It
covers
up the water.
Options.
Covers up the water and ground weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Roar to get any like sweepers that are setting up out. You got Will-O-Wisp for like the physical setup sweepers.
Bro,
I also think it gets toxic too.
I know that Arcanine has that Power Herb Terra Grass Solar Beam in its back pocket, and I'm excited to see it.
I'm sure that's what Yasha was thinking when he drafted it.
100%.
Skuntank too. Skuntank is he's there.
Yep.
He's got good HP. His defenses aren't that great, but he offers some good tools. He offers you the T-Spikes, just regular toxic. It's got like the coverage it needs and like Fire Blast and Flamethrower for steel types. So he can help out too. I don't know how I feel about Rabsca. I guess it's for Revival Blessing, but I also think of Trick Room. And none of these mons really scream Trick Room mon to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're also fast.
It's true. I do fuck with Rabsca. I feel like with any Terra type, it can, it can give itself the Terra type it needs to live any hit and just get that Revival Blessing off, which for a bottom tier, that's really nice. That's a good tech, and getting Revival Blessing to bring back like Rayquaza, Darkrai, Iron Valiant, like that can win you a game. So I do like Rabsca as a bottom tier. I think it has excellent utility for a bottom tier. But I gotta say, the head of this team, Rayquaza plus Iron Valiant, is a really cool core. It's a really nice idea because the combination of Rayquaza and Iron Valiant, they just complement each other so well, and they're both so difficult to prep for, especially in tandem, because you've got Dragon and Fairy, and you've got Flying and Fighting. Two excellent pairings of typings, and both of these Pokemon are mixed attackers, so they can be either physical or special. So essentially, like Rayquaza and Iron Valiant just gives Yasha so many options for how he wants to attack the opponent's team, and it really just makes prep so hard. And then you've got Mega Metagross Darkrai, which is also a great combination. Like Mega Metagross on the physical, Darkrai on the special side. Darkrai provides great speed at 125. You've also got extreme speed with Rayquaza, so Bullet Punch, Mega Metagross, plenty of speed and priority options for this team. Terrapagos is obviously amazing too. Mamoswine is kind of awkward here, but I only feel like it's that because it's kind of overshadowed by all the other threats on the team. I do still feel like it can put in a lot of work. It's just kind of overshadowed by all the other threats. The Firewater Grass core is nice, but I'm worried that it's just they just don't have enough raw bulk to really complement all the threats on the front end. But overall, I mean, I think this team's pretty solid.
How solid would you say?
It's approximately maybe a 7. I'll give it a 7.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. All right. We've got Attila up next.
The Fighting Wurmples.
Zygarde, complete, Zamazenta crowned.
Tornadus Theory and all the guys with hyphenated names.
Dude, we've got so many hyphens on this team.
Venusaur, Mega.
Yep.
There are a lot of threats on this team.
There are a lot of threats on this team.
Like you just look at like there's first four, you're like, wow, that's a lot to deal with. But then even in the low tier, you have Entei, you have Gengar. Hey, Terra Regigigas, anyone?
Dude, Terra Regigigas can be very cool if done right. I
If
mess
we
with
get
it.
a slow start, we could cook.
Um, I like I like this team. I'm just kind of like gathering my thoughts for a second. Tornadus is
I think
um
it shares a
key.
similar problem to a lot of other teams where there's not like a great backbone defensively.
Yeah,
Like I don't see too many defensive pieces that really like kind of reach out to me.
yeah, I do.
Um,
I do kind of feel
you have
that.
Fortress, but you know,
I feel like this team does have decent enough natural bulk though, so it's. I feel like it's going for a little bit more of like just like a bulky
bulky
offense.
offense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you've got stuff like Mega Venusaur and Suicune, which can just be fat. They can heal themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily have defensive tools like a lot of team support, but they're a very hard Pokemon to take down. And same goes for Reuniclus too. You got a little regen core with Reuniclus and Tornadus, which is pretty nice. Zamazenta Crown has great natural bulk too. Like that mon is super bulky and can hit hard.
Stupid bulky.
So that's really good. I feel like what this team really needs, what this team really wants, is a Wish Passer. And if it had that, it would be so nice just to kind of support the team. I like Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is definitely there to.
I love Grimmsnarl.
It wants to set up the screens for Zygarde to set up. And I like that. I think that's good. Zygarde Complete is an interesting mon. Like I remember being kind of unsure of where to put it on the tier list, and then I was worried I tiered it a little too high because no one was picking it. But Attila did take it. I feel like it's a huge threat, but you kind of have to set it up and get the complete form to proc. I think you have to get like below half HP or something, because you start as just like the regular Zygarde form, Zygarde 50, as far as I know.
Yeah. You have to reach father form to actually get it.
Yeah. So I feel like this team, like, it's trying to get Zygarde to set up, and so Grimmsnarl provides good support. Stuff like Suicune and Mega Venusaur can like kind of help pivot. Tornadus can help pivot. I mean, Tornadus is a great revenge killer too. I like Gengar offensively with the Terra. Entei with Terra Normal and Extreme Speed is also very strong. I like that for the priority because I feel like this team kind of relies on Tornadus and Zamazenta for speed. So I like having Entei and Gengar as kind of more lower tier revenge killing options. It's not bad. I how do I really feel? You know what I really wish this team had?
What?
I wish this team drafted Raikou to complete the Suicune Entei Raikou core, and then it would have had a fast electric type, a little bit more speed. That would have been cool.
Maybe Attila will take you up on that.
Dude, honestly, that's what I want to see from this team. Also, the only form of hazard control is Rapid Spin Fortress, and Fortress doesn't want to come every single week. So that's going to be a problem for this team because this team has good natural bulk and it wants to be able to take hits. It doesn't want to get hazard stacked on. Doesn't want to, so. You don't want to run boots on Torn every week if you don't have to, kind of thing. But you might have to, so that's kind of where we're at. Maybe a little bit more hazard control could have helped this team, but it's not bad. I would honestly give it like a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hello, my son. My cat just jumped on my lap with his wet nose.
He's scaring you.
Yeah, dude, he does this. All right, you want to talk about Shinrai?
I do want to talk about Shinrai. Oh, I scrolled past him already. I was like, this is not him. All right. What do we got here? We have Mega Gengar, Lugia, Urshifu, Lando T, Coco Bundle. Are you noticing the same pattern I am
What pattern is that?
with all the teams?
You don't think there has
Really good high tiers, like the occasional high tier serves some kind of defensive purpose, and then all the lower tiers are like the defensive guys.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how
Like
it
we have
goes.
we have defensive Quag and Drudagon, but like who's taking the hits too, you know? Lugia, Lando, obviously.
Yeah,
But
but you got two flying types as your
mhm,
defensive core.
you actually have four on the entire team.
Yeah, which is kind of a lot. I mean, so I've been I actually started prepping for this team for week 1, so I have a lot of thoughts on it.
You have some bias.
Yeah, so I don't want to give too much away, but um yeah, so I think that's kind of a flaw is like the flying repetitive typings and cuz you can hit all those bulky pieces hard cuz they all share a flying type. But I do really like Mega Gengar. And
Mega Gengar is a great threat.
I think
And if you're gonna
Urshifu
say Urshifu complements it, you're absolutely right.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is Urshifu is like the perfect mon to complement with Mega Gengar because Mega Gengar traps those poison types. And you can sit there and say, well, Mayo, you know that ghost types can switch out. They can't be trapped by Mega Gengar. And you know what I say? Urshifu Single Strike can just take on all the ghost types.
Yep. He
So
kicks their ass.
yeah. Um yeah, it's just tough. And like Luke like plus you've got the combination of Tapu Koko and Iron Bundle, which
Mm-hmm.
is tough. Like those mons are really good. Um yeah. So you got to deal with all the offense between Gengar, Shifu, and then Coco and Bundle. Those are the kind of the two duos like offensively you got to prep for. But I just feel like the defensive core of this team just kind of has a lot of redundancies. Like Lugia and Jirachi are both Psychic type. Lugia and Lando T are both Flying type. Talonflame is kind of awkward to me because like I feel like you've already got plenty of speed to choose from between Gengar, Coco, Bundle, and even Urshifu. Like, do you really need another Flying type? You know, I get you want a Fire type for the team, but I don't know. Maybe there's better options out there. I don't know. So I don't know how much utility Talonflame's going to get, but I guess it's another option offensively if you want to leave something like Bundle on the bench for whatever reason. But yeah, just other than the redundancies and the defensive core, I think this team like has good offensive synergy. The offensive synergy between Gengar, Shifu, and Coco Bundle is very scary.
It's hitting.
It's hitting.
All right. I think it's going to be hitting a 7 on the scale.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that. Okay. We've got Bonier and the Brittany Brambleghasts.
Bunyorth.
So Xerneas is here.
Mm-hmm.
No Geomancy.
My goody two shoes counterpart.
The X to your Y, as some might say.
Mmm.
even without Geomancy, this thing is like the best fairy type on the tier list because it is just an
Just great.
It can be excellent with a choice scarf or choice specs. It can be extremely threatening with just Calm Mind. You know, you've got enough natural bulk to really utilize Calm Mind and Draining Kiss. It's got coverage options, so it's just very hard to deal with. And the Fairy Aura just makes those Moon Blasts like so hard to switch into.
He's aura farming.
Yeah, Xerneas is going to be aura farming all season, I fear. And then you've got Pheromosa, which I think is a huge threat. I like Pheromosa. Great speed. You know, the speed benchmark for everyone to match is 151 base speed with Choice Scarf Pheromosa. It's hard to top that. You know, you kind of have the ability to check whatever you want to check. If you want to just slap a Choice Scarf on Pheromosa, you know, you can hit it on the physical or the special side. I think Pheromosa has a ton of coverage. I don't know what exactly it has.
A lot.
It's got a lot. You know, you've got the Fairy Steel Dragon Core is rounded out after Xerneas with Goldengo and Garchomp, which is pretty solid. I like Goldengo a lot because, you know, it's blocking all the hazard removal, which helps Glimmora. I like Glimmora on this team, being able to really hazard stack up, and Goldengo to just kind of shut it down, the removal. So there's a ton of hazard options for this team. You got Sticky Web with Vikavolt. So yeah, I like that. Meowscarada also synergizes nicely with Pheromosa. Little fighting and dark combination, little bug and grass, little, you know what I'm saying? I mess with that. I like Meowscarada as an option offensively for this team. So you got two speedy mons with Pheromosa, Meowscarada. You know, some of the bulk on the back end. You got Slowbro. You got Porygon too. I see a little Trick Room option with Mega Camera Ups brewing. So I mess with that. You know, I'm down to see Mega Camera Up put in some work. That's for sure. Even Bisharp, I think, is a good low tier.
With Terra too.
Yeah, Bisharp is Terra Flying, Vikavolt's Terra Electric, and Porygon 2 is Terra Ghost. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find things wrong with this team, but I mean, there's not too much wrong with this team. I think it's pretty solid. It doesn't really, you know, I feel like it has enough bulk for what it needs to do. It's pretty balanced.
I would say this is a balanced team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the hazard control could be a little bit better because you don't really want to click Rapid Spin with Pheromosa. You don't really want to click Defog with Xerneas. And then you got the Mortal Spin with Glimmora. So this team can really lay up the hazards and keep them up, but don't know if it can really remove them. So it's tough.
All right, well, you know the drill.
All right, we're giving it a 7 out of 10. I know, we're trying to keep this moving. I think we got, 3 teams left? Yeah, we got 3 teams left.
I think we got 7.
So, United.
Yep. Season 5 winner?
5 or 6? Oh, yeah, 5. Season 5 winner. Former champion. I feel like this is one of the best teams. You know, I kind of looked at all of the teams before this video, and I think this one is one of the best. And we're gonna ignore the fact that they lost 6-0 week 1, but I'm still gonna glaze this team because I think it looks really good on paper.
Absolutely.
Deoxys Attack is a great mon to kind of head the team because it is the quintessential revenge killer. It's strong enough. It's strong enough to wall break and fast enough to revenge kill anything. So it may fold to any attack, but it's just great. This team has a good flushed out defensive core, which I like. It's got Giratina, Clefable, Gliscor, Umbreon, and Registeel. Amazing.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Also,
Disgusting.
Rotom Frost with just Terra Electric Terra
Mm-hmm.
to have no weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Registeel packs the Terra Fairy too, which can be great situationally. Umbreon packs the Terra Ghost, which can be nice situationally. And then I think the real what you really take away from this team is the fact that Cyclizar is a good pivot that can shed tail, because shed tail is legal, and you've got two very threatening set of sweepers that can take advantage of a clean shed tail in Mega Blastoise and Volcarona. So the key for this team is to pivot around with the flushed out defensive core until there is an opportunity to get a clean shed tail off, and then once you get the clean shed tail off, set up with one of the threats, and it's GG. I mean, it that's the way I see it.
No, I totally agree. I think just having the threat of being able to shed tail into any of those Pokemon is absolutely terrifying. Even something like Gliscor, that's like one of your bulkier mons, just getting that thing in already behind a sub and it's so hard to break. That can be really frustrating too, because then it can just toxic stall you.
Yeah, or Swords Dance even, right?
Mega Blastoise is a crazy threat. Like if you just shell smash behind Shed Tail, like GG, like I don't even know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you even got low tier sweepers like Quiver Dance Bellossom and Shell Smash Caracosta, which if you can pull any of those two
Yeah.
off, then I will applaud.
Respect.
Mad respect, mad respect. Um, yeah, I do kind of get the vibe that this team is relying heavily on the Shed Tail gimmick. And if Deoxys Attack goes down, then it could be tough to get going afterwards. So you got to kind of protect Deoxys Attack and bring it out safely and use it when you need to. But this team is a nightmare to prep for. And so I kind of feel like it's a 7 out of 10.
I do too.
Yeah. All right, we got two teams left. Let's talk about Ty the Guy.
Ty the guy that finally brought down the PWC.
Dude, Ty the Guy is the hero of ETA as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
For triumphing over the PWC. But can he hold up now in ETA Season 7? That's the question.
That is the question.
I feel like he's on a high horse right now, so we'll see if he can maintain that. I don't know. What do you think about this team? Off rip.
Threat. Yeah, it is the same as every other team. The 7 out of 10 meme is so real. Or it's like incredible top tiers, somewhat defensive bottom tiers. I mean, Mandibuzz is defensive. Mandibuzz is. She's that bitch. I'll tell you straight up. That thing is fat.
Yeah, I feel like Ty does have a good defensive core between.
It goes well with Florges too.
Yeah, Mandibuzz,
and I
Florges,
like
and
Muck as
Glow
well.
King.
Like a little Salt Vest Muck.
Yo,
Maybe some Houndstone.
Muck is fire.
Fluffy Houndstone.
Yeah, I mean, Glow King with Mandibuzz and Florges, I feel like you've got enough tools to take hits. Plus,
Bulk.
there's enough natural bulk with Melmetal or Saluna, Zekrom, where those
Yeah, the
guys can
two
take it.
slow guys are scary. Like, I'm trying to think right now if any of these Pokemon get Trick Room or
So Glow
something.
King, dude, Glow King is the centerpiece of this team.
Yeah.
It can set up the trick room. You got the chilly reception to get the momentum into all the threats. One critique I have for this team is that it's very, very predominantly physical attackers.
Physical. A
So
Will-O-Wisp here or there,
yeah,
not
exactly.
gonna be great.
A will
Unless it's on Ursaluna, but
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
if that thing goes down, man,
Yeah, so I don't know.
it's tough getting burned.
I kind of feel like maybe over Quacklevolt you could have used like a special water type. You already got a fighting type. But Quacklevolt's a threat.
Like a Milotic or something.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Honestly, yeah. Tapu Bulu with the grassy terrain too, kind of with that passive recovery, just kind of helps all these guys. Like,
Yep, copycat.
it kind of neutralizes Zekrom's ground weakness, Melmetal's ground weakness with the earthquakes, so and that helps a little bit. Scorch is fire too. Scorch is Terra Fire and Terra Fairy. Terra Fairy Scorch, low key threat.
Yeah.
I mess with that guy.
Scorch has a lot of setup options too. Mm-hmm. Or does it only have coil?
I think it has coil. I don't know if it has. I don't know if it gets anything else.
I was wrong.
I used Scorch a long time ago, but I forget.
I just know I played, I think it was in PWC, somebody used Terra Fire and then Burn Up, so Scorch just didn't have like a type. So it didn't have weakness. And then I think it was Oil and Leech Life.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Lash is just very spammable because it always lowers defense. So, like, that's a great physical fire move. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this team, my main problems with it are, one, pretty much all physical attackers minus Glow King. So just bring physical defense versus this team. The second thing is that it's slow. It's got good natural bulk, but it's pretty slow. Mega Mewtwo X is 130 speed, but it can't be any faster because you can't run a Choice Scarf on it. So you just gotta kind of outspeed that with a Choice Scarf, and you're good. You gotta watch out for the Trick Room option, but I don't know how often Ty is gonna bring that. I mean, it's definitely an option for him, but we'll see how successful that's going to be. So I feel like, you just get kind of a fast threat in and start punching holes in this team, and you can be all right. But overall,
all right enough to say it's a 7 out of 10, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a 7 out of 10. All right. We're going for the last team here. LilGril, I've asked you like 5 times.
Yes, dude, classic. Team 16, logo 16. This is my favorite team.
I've asked LilGril like 5 times to make the last pick of the draft and spend 5 points. But they haven't. Hey, no hate from me. I don't care. If you just want to run 11 Mons, you can. You don't have to spend your last 5 points. I'm just saying.
You could get a 5-pointer.
You technically never made the last pick of the draft, is all I'm saying.
You could get a Probo Pass.
Dude, I should just
put You could get a Squawkabilly
right now. Squawkabilly, yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna run through my thoughts on this team real quick. Primal Kyogre.
Go for it, man.
Primal Kyogre is going crazy.
Okay.
You said ass. I'm saying going crazy.
I didn't actually mean it. It's just I'm gaslighting.
Yeah, those rain boosted Origin Pulses are gonna hurt.
Yeah, that sure hurted.
Your water resists are what? Water and grass. So what? You have like plenty of things to deal with grass. You've got Heatran, Amoonguss. You've got Mega Salamence with flying moves. So you've got plenty of things to deal with opposing grass. Opposing water, that's where it gets a little dicey. An opposing water type might be able to sit on the field a little bit longer. You still got a Mungus, you got Galvantula, I guess. Um, Hisuian Zoroark cannot disguise itself as Primal Kyogre because it's not going to set up the rain, so that's not the best, but it still can put in work. It can disguise itself as something like, but that's the thing. It can't disguise itself as Tapu Lele because it's not going to set up the terrain. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you try to disguise as Gambit, you're not going to get the Supreme Overlord. So it's kind of hard to get Zoroark to disguise as the right thing versus team. I feel like you disguise it as like a Mungus, Skarm, or Heatran, one of the defensive mons.
Yeah, one of the bulkier guys to start off the game.
Yeah. This team has some good bulk. I like Amoonguss, Heatran, Skarm. You double up on the steel, but they don't actually share any weaknesses. I don't think because Skarm's only weak to fire and electric, and Heatran's got the fire immunity and is neutral to the electric. And Skarm is immune to the ground and neutral to the fighting. So it's not bad. It works. And Primal Kyogre is a nice bulky water too. So it can be offensive. You can make it more defensive with the EVs, and it'll still hit hard. That's the thing. It gets Calm Mind too. So if it sets up the Calm Mind, it's gonna go crazy. Um, yeah, Sticky Web is a good option for this team. You got Tapu Lele too to block priority, which is nice, but I don't really like Tapu Lele and King Gambit at all.
Yeah, kind
Uh,
of ruins your sucker
that
punch.
ruins your Sucker Punch, and that's like King Gambit's best move, so that's not cool. Um, but I do like Mega Salamence. I think Mega Salamence is a big threat. Yeah, this team kind of relies on Zoroark for speed a little bit too. At 110, it's kind of a big benchmark. It can be Choice Scarf, Mega Salamence. Even though it's 120, you don't always want to rely on it to get those revenge kills. Skarm is also the only form of hazard control, so do with that information what you will. I fuck with Gastrodon, Loki. That is going to help versus the
Hmm.
water
The
types.
Storm Drain.
You got a little water immunity. I get it. The defensive backbone for this team is solid. I just wish there was better synergy between the offensive mons. Like either King Gambit or Tapu Lele has to go. I just don't think they can both stay. Like honestly, King Gambit just like swap it for something else, man. You got two steel types already. Um, but I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do. LilGril does always pull up with the signature Morgrim. Um,
Which,
I
hey, I respect.
listen. I respect always picking like the same mon constantly, and Morgrim has shown to have some utility occasionally for LilGril. With the screens, it can get those screens up so that Kyogre can Calm Mind. It can be useful. A little parting shot action. I mess with it. What do you think? Out of 10.
I think you're actually going to be pretty shocked here.
Mm-hmm.
Call me crazy. 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking about the same. 7 out of 10. All right. Well, that's it for the teams. One more thing before we sign off. It's been an hour and a half. I think that's a good sign off point. But please give me your fantasy prediction. Who is going to win fantasy for ETA Season 7? And I know you're just going to say Michelle Haley, but
Yeah, that's the thing. You kind of can't say anyone else but your wife. They're going to be mad. But that aside, if I had to say someone else, I would probably say Gamer Guy is looking pretty good.
yeah, I do think Gamer Guy is looking pretty good. I do like gamer what gamer guys got going on. Um, I like Patchy Champ. Patchy Champ has a lot of good offense, good revenge killers. Um, yeah,
So
maybe
who's the
Eli.
worst?
I think Eli could be a sneak. Eli could be a sneaky choice.
Okay,
He does
with the
dug him up.
Genesect and the Blastoise.
Yeah, Masquerada, Blast with Fluttermane.
I'll tell you who the worst team is. It's Mazda.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Um,
given.
just all of Camel's Pokemon. I hate to tell you, man. Unless Camel somehow pops off with all of those Pokemon all the time, I don't know. Probably not going to do anything.
It'll be a miracle.
All right. I
All right, let's
think that's it.
let's sign off.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed your annual ETA 7 out of 10 fest, where we tell you why your team's a 7 out of 10. And best of luck to all our coaches this season. We are very excited and grateful that most of you have stuck around for, it's hard to believe, almost how many years? 3, 4?
I think season 1 was like what, 2021. It's been like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
It's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All the ETA
2021.
all the ETA history is in the Hall of Fame. So, let's see. Yeah. March 2021 to June 2021 was season 1. I do like how we have a lot of returning faces. We have a nice crowd here in ETA. I appreciate all of you. You guys are all fun to play with. I hope we enjoy this season. And yeah, I wish you all good luck. Have fun. That's all I got. Uh, take care. Goodbye.